click this new button, and from here we can now continue uh, getting all these details. So we will name it server. We will select ISO to this uh, the downloaded Windows Server 2022 ISO. Then we uncheck this one. We click next. We then put a base memory. Let's put it around 4 MB. All right. The number of CPUs we have like 4 is better. 8. All right. Recommended. Let's put it on a recommended part. Uh, then this size would be, yeah, 50 GB. 50. Right. Next. Finish. Then after that, we click finish. So as you can see here, this is the the server that we have created. Now we will double click this one. It's powering, it's creating. It will take time, but along the video we will be able to set this up fully. So yeah, let's wait for this server to start. And loading files. Right, as you can see, it's already starting. And right here, we have already done the downloading and installing of the Oracle VirtualBox, the Windows Server, in which we used the 2022. And then we also have created the ISO setup, the memory allocation, and the disk setup. So now we will proceed with system configuration and allowing to start the entire Windows Server. So this might take time, but we will wait for this one to work. And la, 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 la. Right? As you can see, we will now start setting up our uh, Windows server. So we put it on English, US, we click next, and then we click install now. So there is actually a shortcut in installing the OS. Earlier, we have that unchecked part wherein install unattended like Chuchu. So that part is actually the VirtualBox installing the operating system directly. But in here, we uncheck that part because we want to see and to follow the process from creating a virtual machine into installing the OS itself. So we click install, and then that will be installed the what you call the OS, and then it will take time, but eventually it will be finished. So in here there are 4 different parts. So we pick the standard evaluation. All right, we click next. After that, we accept the terms and agreements, and then we click this one. We next, and then right, we click this unallocated space, and we will click next, and then this part is where we have set up the disk earlier, the 50 GB, during the time where we are setting up the server. So now it's getting its files ready for the installation. Once we finish this installation, we can then proceed in configuring the entire system, the name, the setup of the entire system, and then uh, specifically the system configurations, the IP, and the patches and managements. So it would take time. So for the video, Genesis will be speeding up this part since it would take too much time, or it will drag the video for so long. So once I will talk again once the installation is already done. It's on 67%, 68%, a little more, and then we are in setting up or configuring our entire system. So for the record, or for guidance for watching this video, the performance of your server depends on the allocation that you give to the server, especially the number of CPUs that it can run, uh, the amount of storage that you give to it, the amount of RAM that you allocate to it, because running this a server with a lot of data in it, a lot of configuration, requires a lot more resources from your local machine into your virtual machine. So if you have projects that involves really big configurations, we suggest that you use much better and higher end grade of components. And as you can see, it is already on the 94% installation, and then we can now proceed with the system configuration of the Windows Server. Hi. Okay, it's installing the updates, finishing it up. In a little while, we can now enter this configuration of the Windows Server. And now the operating system has been successfully installed. It will now restart so that the virtual machine can recognize the operating system that we have just downloaded. Since we've just installed the Windows Server and then we have already created it, right now what we need to do is to set up our local server, to change the server name, and to configure the network itself so that it would have a static ID, including the patches. So first is in this part, the local server. As you can see, the computer name is already filled. We have already changed that to Ian Jasnelgen because we actually forgotten this part of the video. So I'm here to show you again so that just the process on creating this part. So what you need first to do is to click computer description, the computer name, you click the change, and in change, I cannot do that because it's already there. So if you change the computer description, you can then add the name. After you add the name, you apply, then the server will restart so that it will be recognized by the server itself. Moving forward, one very important feature is you need to add a static IP address for the server because for every power on and power off of the virtual machine, each server is deployed with a different IP address. So having a static IP address allows it to have a permanent identity within the server or the system that you are controlling. So what we need to do is we need to go to Network Sharing Center, which is in the control panel. We will go to change adapter setting. After that, we right click the Ethernet. We go to properties. We need to find the Internet Protocol version 4 or TCP IPv4. So we click this one. We go to properties. After going to properties, the first one should display here is this dots. However, we've added already our desired IP addresses, the subnet mask, and the default gateway, and the preferred DNS server, so that because this is what we use right now, we just forgot this part of the video. So once added, you can click OK, apply, and then that's it. That's setting up a static IP address. Lastly would be the adding the managing the security patches and updates. So what you need to do is you go to settings. After you go to settings, you would then navigate down to the updates and security. And then as you can see here, you can see that it is updating. You see it's downloading everything. So this part, it is very crucial to to do it because it actually helps your server to be more secure and to be more safe against data leaks and breaches. So that's it for the system configuration of the Windows Server. And the importance of changing server name is just that it's recognizable, and managing multiple servers at the same time might be confusing. So having a unique name for each server allows you to manage it perfectly and smoothly. And changing static IP address is actually putting just a permanent address to that particular server, and the updates and patches are just for security and reliability of the system that is up to date. And I will now move you to Justnell for setting up of the Active Directory. Thank you.
So since Ian already finished the installation of the Windows Server as well as the system configuration. So now I will gonna demonstrate and walk you through on how to install a Active Directory as well as how to promote it to the domain controller and lastly is how to create a domain. So first you have to click this manage and you're gonna choose add roles and features, and in here the add roles and feature wizard will gonna show, so you just have to do the process of the installation. So here is the installation type, so you will gonna choose role based or feature based installation. So next here in the server selection, so I'm gonna select the server that we have here from the server pool, so which is the Ion just now Gen. So next is here in the Active Directory domain services. So since earlier I've already installed this one, so I'm just gonna walk you through it because we forgot to take a video. So here, as you can see, you will just gonna select the Active Directory domain services. Then after that, it will gonna choose. You have to click the add features, and here as well in DNS server, you have to select this as well and the features. Then you have to next, and after that, the features. You have to select the group policy management, where is usually it is default, so you can ignore that one. So next, then after next, you have the confirmation will gonna show up. So and you gonna click the installation. So after the installation process, so for you to be able to promote the server, which is here, because I successfully installed it, so we can see it in the all servers here, the ADDS and DNS. But to promote this one to the domain controller, so as you can see, there is a yellow flag notification, so you have to select that one. So for the post deployment configuration is you have to click the link, which is promote this server to a domain controller. So select that one and you can see we are going to start for the deployment configuration. So in order to promote the server, we need to create a new forest or a new domain. So we have to choose the add a new forest, and in here we have to select our domain name. So I'm just gonna put csc.com, so that will be my domain name. So next, so here we are already here in the Windows Server, I mean in the domain controller options, and we have to select for the forest function level as well as the domain function level. So as you can see, there is server 2016 here. So we will just gonna keep it that way since the Windows Server 2016 is the highest forest and domain level for the Windows Server 2022. And as well as here in the specified domain controller capabilities, as you can see, the domain name server or the DNS and the global catalog was already selected. So we will keep it that way. Since I can't type the DSRM password yet, so let's just wait for it to load. So let's type the password for the DSRM or the Directory Services Restore mode. So here, this yellow flag notification, we just have to ignore this one because it is for the DNS server. For here in the additional options, we can modify our domain name, but I will keep it as CEC. So let's click next. So here we can specify the location of the ADDS database, but I will just keep it as default. And we are here in the review options, but I'm good. So let's just wait for it to be approved. So it needs a prerequisite check to see if all the requirements or all the features is approved or if all the requirements are met. So as you can see, CEC and administrator. So we successfully promoted the domain to this computer, to this server rather. So let's check. So now let's check. So here, let's click tools and then click Active Directory users and computers. So here, we already have our domain cec.com. So I'm already done with. So we successfully installed the Active Directory, promote it to the server, and we're able to create our domain. So with the so for creating organizational units, so I will gonna pass the table to Genesis.
Okay, so now that we have set up our Active Directory in our domain name server, it is now the time to create an organizational unit as well as manage our users. So we have our organizational unit to help us organize our users as well as manage them easier, and we can also apply specific group policies to that specific group under that OU. So to create an organizational unit, we first go to this window or to this application, our server manager, and then we go to the tools here on the upper right corner, and then we'll click on the Active Directory users and computers. Now that we are in the Active Directory users and computers, we now click on our domain, the cec.com, and right click on this, and then we need to create in hover on the new option and then create an organizational unit. So let's just name our organizational unit BPO employees. Okay, now click OK. After creating a BPO employees, the organizational unit is now under our domain, the cec.com. So to create a user, first go to this organizational unit and then hover on the new and then hover on the user. So now type our credentials, John A. John Doe. Click next and then we'll apply a password. So our password must have a capital letter, a number, and a special character. Okay, now let's click next. Next, okay, let's finish this. So now, John Doe is now under the BPO employees, and now it's time to create a group. So under the BPO employees, let's have hover on the new and then group. So let's name this group BPO team. Now, okay. So under the BPO employees, we have our security group, the BPO team. So it's time to add this John Doe to the BPO team group. Okay, so let's click here on the members and then add. So here we have our filter. So we can just type in directly the user account of John Doe. So John Doe chat names, and here we have this one. So just click on that and then click OK. Then let's add. No, then here we can see it's already added, so we'll just click OK. So members. Okay. So that's it on creating our organizational unit, creating a user under that organizational unit, and creating a group within the organizational unit. Okay, so now that we have created our OU, our organizational unit, our groups, and our users, it's now time to demonstrate how we can set the permission and access control. So on our File Explorer, here we can create a sample folder at our local disk. So I already have this BPO files. Then we'll just right click on this folder and then go to Properties. And on the Security tab, we can edit, so we can add a group. So we'll add it and then we'll add a group. So the group that we had it earlier is called BPO team. So let's check if it's available. So here, click OK. So now it's time to set a permission for BPO team. So in this section, we can see if we can allow the BPO team to have our full control, can allow the BPO team to modify the folders inside to read and execute, to list the folder contents, read and write, or have a special permission. So let's just have this at default. Click apply. Then OK. Then OK. So now you can see that the the group that we had it earlier, the BPO team can now access this folder. Okay, so now I will show you how to manage it and enforce some security within your system. So we have here a feature in Windows where we can manage our disk using our disk management. So this management allows our system to separate files system files from other data. It is also important so we can organize our data or our information efficiently, as well as prevent data loss if ever our system crashes. So to demonstrate or to show you how to manage our data or to our disk, first go to the disk management, disk management. Okay. So now that we're here in a disk management, we can click on this one, and then we can shrink the volume. So we can allocate a little space for our working files. Okay. So you can enter the amount of space you can shrink. So let's just have this one shrink. So now that we have an unallocated file, let's have this unallocated file as a simple volume. Okay. So by right clicking and then clicking this new simple volume, click on next, and then just have this as our default. So and then you can choose what letter you like, and then you can choose a file system. So let's just have it as our new technology file system, and then we can label our volume as um, files. Okay, click on next, click on finish. So work files, so we can check this one here on our file explorer. On our PC, we can have work files here. So we can store any work related files on this disk. So now it is time to show you how we can configure our storage, or how we can configure our storage and share our storage to our groups. So here, let's go back on our local disk C. So we have here a BPO files. So let's just say we want to share this. Then we can go to the properties, then sharing. Let's go to advanced sharing. Let's click on this button, share this folder. Okay, and then um, let's go to the permissions, and then let's click on this add so we can add this one to specific group. So we have an added group already, the BPO team. So let's just use that one so we can check the name. Okay, so the BPO team is available. So okay, and then um, we can check on this permission if we can if we allow the BPO team to have a full control, or just allow the BPO team to change to only read the files inside the folder. Then click on apply, then click on OK, click on OK, close. So again, let's check if BPO team has already access to this account. Let's check on the sharing, then event settings, permissions. Okay, so BPO team is already added. The BPO files folder is already shared to the BPO team group. Now let's move on to the configuring of firewall settings. So firewall setting is very important because it protects our server from unauthorized access, and also it controls the network traffic. So it also provides prevents hacking attempts. So to have our firewall, let's can go to the control panel, then Windows Defender. So if you can see Windows Defender here, actually search for Windows Defender firewall. This one, this. Then let's go on the advanced settings. So here we can see our tabs in here. We have the inbound rules and the outbound rules. So what is the difference between the inbound rules and the outbound rules? So the inbound rules refers to the incoming traffic. So these are the traffics that is going inside the system, while the outbound rules are the outgoing traffic that is the traffic that is from your system going outside. So we can add a new rule in here on this left side. So let's just say we added a new software or a new application or new program, then we can set this type of rule to have a program, then click on next, and then we can choose that selected execution file. But unfortunately, we don't have that one, so we can have just this. We can also um, have our port, so we can rule what TCP or UDP port we can control. So that's it for our um, Windows Defender configuration. So let's move on to our advanced security on the security system. So we can go on the settings and then click on the updates and securities. Click on the Windows security. And we can open our Windows security. So here in the Windows security, we can actually scan, so we can see if we have any threats. We can have a quick scan. We have these types of options in here. We have a quick scan, a full scan, and a custom scan. So and do a quick scan for reference. So let's just wait for a minute or two. Okay, so as you can see, there are no current threats. And we need to make sure also on our firewall and network protection that our domain network, in the domain network, our firewall is on the private network, it is also on, and also on our public network. So this is very important so that we can make sure that there are no any unauthorized packets that is coming inside our system. And also for our security policies, we can go on the Windows R, then have this one, the sequel.msc, click on OK. Then we can configure here our policies for our accounts, like the password policies. So we can configure the minimum password length as well as the maximum password age. So on this, we can configure here on the password length, the password complexity, as well as our account, if ever our account up. So that sums the uh, that sums the um, okay. So that sums our disk management and our system security for our Windows Server.